Well, you clicked on the video, you know what this is about. What is a traditional wedding? What does that mean? You're going into this planning process, if you are planning a wedding, and you're wondering how you want to go about it. You don't want to upset the people that you're inviting. You don't want to upset your family members or your friends, but you're starting to realize as each step you take gets closer to this point that you're kind of starting to find out what is and what isn't traditional. Okay, I'm going to start this out by saying a few things. First off, this video is not intended to offend anybody. This video's purpose is first off to give me content to make, but I think it's important for me while I'm in this process to share wedding planning thoughts and to help a lot of my friends that are going through this process as well. And I think that by informing them about the honest opinions of what I've dealt with is extremely informative and important for them to get through their process. Secondly, I want to just let you know that anything and everything I say could totally be wrong, because traditional and the definition of it truly it doesn't have a definite answer for you. What people think is traditional, another person may think isn't. And it's a generalized statement, and you want to kind of meet somewhere in the middle. But overall, just make sure that you're doing whatever you want to do. No matter what anybody says to you, do not listen to them. You do what you want to do for your day. This is your day. More than likely, you won't be getting another big traditional kind of wedding. So enjoy it while it lasts, soak it in, and don't let people get to you. Family, friends, or just haters. So we're gonna bring it all the way back and touch the basis of the most important aspects of this, as far as like what I have found out that people say is traditional and maybe you didn't know either. So I'm gonna go all the way back. I'm not gonna name out or call out anybody in particular, but just so that you might wanna prepare for what may come. I planned and I set the date. We got engaged and we decided where we wanted to go pretty immediately, and we've been together for a while, so we were like, all right, we know what we want and we're ready to go. So we get through that whole process. We send out invitations. We gave each parent and ourselves 30 people each, because that equaled out to 150 people, which was our goal. The reason the number matters so much is because I wanted to say, like, we're going to stay strict on what we want. We're going to stay strict on the number because it affects everything to the point of the wedding. It's not just the cost. I mean, that is a major thing, and cost from every detail. It's a trickle effect. It's a cost for decorations, for centerpieces, per plate, for food, for bar, for everything. And I just can't afford it. So traditionally, come to find out, people bring plus ones to weddings. It's something that a lot of people just kind of know. It's something that's a given. But we decided that if we were going to give every single person a plus one, they really couldn't bring their kids. They really couldn't bring the people that we care about the most. And also, we won't know most of the people coming, because some of the people we were inviting were maybe like a parent's really good friend they know, but we don't really know, and now they're gonna bring a plus one, so we really don't know them. So it was kind of more so we wanted to keep this a very personal wedding. We wanted to keep this at a very minimal amount of people. And who likes to go to a wedding or have your own wedding where you don't know these people? So this day, again, is solely about the people that are making this day even a thing. I mean, if it weren't for the person that is getting married, the people getting married together, the day wouldn't exist. So I just want to clarify, like, do people understand the day is not about them? The day is not about your friends or the people that you, like, honestly, like, it infuriates me so bad. I could go on and on and on. I want to save you that, but apparently that plus ones is like this giant traditional thing. We didn't do it. We decided that we were just gonna put our foot down, and we told them, you pick your most important people to you, and that is what you get. The next thing I found out in the process was that we got a phone call from somebody who is not even immediate family, somebody that is family very, very distant family. We get a call. Well, my mom gets a call. It's even better. And she's asking, is Ariana wearing a veil? Now, that's a kind of a personal question. It is totally per preference, but it's pretty generalized that you would think like a wedding bride wears a veil. Not always now. I was actually pretty torn. And it's interesting because my theme is mystical, whimsical, fairy tale, fairy, garden, like all that theme. So I was seriously considering wearing like a lavender thorn on my head. And then I bought my dress and I came across this beautiful veil and I decided, you know what? That looks beautiful with the dress. I'm just gonna stick with it. It's gonna upset less people. I shouldn't have thought like that, but I think the veil's fine. But ultimately, it's your decision. If you don't want to wear a veil, don't wear a veil. If you want to wear a thorn on your head, do it. If you don't want to wear anything, you want to wear a crown or a tiara, like that's up to you. But apparently, I came to find out that wearing a veil is traditional, and wearing it in front of your face is traditional as well. Even though the person may not be a virgin, that is a very personal aspect as well. And it's like, if people ask that kind of question, you really just have to say, I'm sorry, but that's pretty personal. So I haven't really decided yet, but thank you for asking. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I mean, how do you even get through to these people? I mean, I don't know. The next step I found out was registry plans. So I registered on Amazon. I decided that by doing that, I had a variety of things that I could choose from, and we had just moved in last year to our first home, and we have a lot of stuff here now. We had accumulated a lot of things before we moved in, and so all we added to our registry were things that we don't have yet, or things that we think we might want. And I tried to give a variety through like very expensive to very affordable, and then there's a mid-range as well, so that there's very important family members that are asking for this. Hey, we'll buy one really good specific gift. So we put like, I don't know, a tent on there. There's a snowblower on there. There's like things that are a couple $100, but we don't expect the average person to buy it. We also don't expect people to buy it from our registry specifically. They're just ideas. Again, I had multiple people saying that my registry was not only confusing because it was online, they couldn't find the link, which I put directly on invitations, so I don't know how that was possible, but then I posted it again on social media, and then apparently you're not traditionally supposed to have it on Amazon. You're supposed to traditionally pick certain stores, and then you register through them, and then they can call. It's like this whole disaster in my mind. It's like, why add the extra steps when I could just do it real quick online on Amazon? We're going to the point where we're all technology anyway, and if you don't have a laptop or a phone, you're living under a rock. So I found out real fast that traditionally registries are supposed to be all this, like, you're supposed to like specifically register for a specific store at a specific city, and that is that, and it just wasn't for me. So come to find, your registry may be an important aspect. Choose wisely. Okay, a big one was the people coming, the guests that we invited. With only having 150 guests, we had to pick very wisely on who we wanted, and we had to be in particular about like friends and stuff. And it wasn't, and anybody watching that isn't invited to my wedding, but they are family or friends, I still love you. But I had to choose very wisely people that I talk to on a very regular basis, people that I deem love and care for me the most, people that are relevant in my life and don't cause chaos or drama in my family in any way. Now, that may not even be you. You may not have that drama in there, but I didn't deem that we were the closest to you. So my apologies, but you will hear from everybody. This is nothing new. That one of the biggest stresses is choosing who's coming, reaching out to them, finding them. People get offended, especially when I let them know, hey, you can't bring a +1. But I tried to individually explain it to the people that I didn't give a +1. It wasn't everybody that didn't get a +1. It was people that didn't have a date, or they were maybe like in a very fresh relationship. I've never met that person. I was just like, hey, look, they can maybe come after dinner when we have the reception. But as far as like the number and why the number matters, it's all the costs leading up to that point. And a lot of people understood. I had a couple people that straight up said they weren't coming to my wedding because they didn't have a +1. And I was like, cool, okay, well, I'm not giving you one because you complained. So thank you. I appreciate your honesty, and I guess I'll see you at another time. It's not, I would say that this process has not only humbled me, but it has made me develop a backbone, and it's made me realize that because I am standing my ground, it's not that I am an asshole. Excuse my language. It is the fact that I'm being very matter of fact. I'm not budging or moving for all these people. And that could mean parents. That could mean people you care the most about that you just have to say no. And I think that, like, my parents have told me that they've gained respect for me because I'm one to usually try to make everybody happy, and that's just not possible for a wedding. So the whole point for this is another traditional thing is that you want to invite all of your family. If you're going to have a big wedding or a traditional wedding, meaning not destination wedding or courthouse wedding, that you're to invite all your family. Now, you can't do that when you have, like, my fiance and I both have divorced parents who have big families. Like, his side's really not big. My side is big. My mom has 7 brothers and sisters, and my grandfather's brothers and sisters have like 7 kids themselves. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't invite everybody. And it's not that I don't love them. I just can't. Not to mention their spouses and their children. And I'm like, wow, you know? So yeah, it's a process, and just choose wisely. Sit down and really think, like, who is going to be fun coming to your wedding? Who is going to be able to truly make it? Who is closest to you? Who's the most important to you? So it's a very big decision, but it's something that I've come to realize it is a huge traditional problem. So now you've kind of made your plans and everything, and you're going into wanting to look into dresses. And that comes with bridesmaids dress shopping and bridal dress shopping. Now, there wasn't any like problems, but I did run into an issue of it being slightly awkward for me as far as like who to invite to these events. Who do you invite to come with you for these things? So I just made it a very simple. As far as my girls went, when they got their dresses, I just had them come, and that was it. Plain and simple. There was no reason for anybody else to come because they weren't going to get a dress. And then as far as bridal dress goes, I just had his mom and my mom come. I felt bad because I felt like there were so many powerful women in my life, but I just thought as far as intimacy, efficiency goes for the day, less stress, less people's schedules, I just thought it'd be easier just to have the moms. Found out traditionally, it can mean so many different things. You can have your grandparents come, you can have your whole bridal party come, you can have like special women and other friends. And I just was like, okay, look, this is the easiest way to go about it. So another thing to consider is who will be there at these events. Oh yeah, I had mentioned invitations. That was a huge one. The way I went about my invitations, I sent out save the dates about 8 months before the wedding, and I looked online, and that's what it had said nowadays people do. They send out save the dates before other actual invitations so that people can put it on their calendar way ahead of time with much advance, especially if they know they're going to start a new job or they really need notice for their job to plan a vacation or family that's coming out of town. So I did save the dates 8 months before. People were extremely confused. They did not know that it wasn't the actual invitation. I sent save the dates with RSVP cards at that time. It was very in advance. But then on the RSVP cards, I had put, please return by, and the date was exactly 3 months before the wedding. That gave them 5 months to reply to me on time. There were a lot of people that did not understand it, did not send them back. People threw them away. So I had to reach out myself. There is never going to be a wedding you plan that everybody sends them back, whether they say yes or no. And I was at a point where I was like, please just send them back to me. I paid for this. I gave you an envelope with a stamp on it to return back to me, and I need to know whether or not you are coming. I had just so many people I had to reach out to because I'm like, look, like these are people that are very important to me and they haven't said anything, like what's going on? So Then once that 3-month hit, literally on the day, I sent out real invitations, and people I didn't hear from and I didn't get RSVPs back, I just didn't send the actual invitations to, because I'm like, well, I guess you're not coming. So that is another issue, is traditionally speaking, people don't expect a save the date. They don't understand what it is. However, our times are changing. You do what you want to do. I use Shutterfly for mine. I thought it was just the most pretty options, and it had very affordable options as well. So I recommend going to that. And there's also Vistaprints and stuff, but I just use Shutterfly. It made it easy, and there's a lot of coupons all the time that you can use for that too. But I would say, as far as advice goes for that traditional speaking, try to make it as simple as possible. And I literally mean dummy proof it, because even though it might seem simple and to the point to you, they need to know in depth detail what you mean. And when you fill out the cards, and I'm very serious about this, make sure you spell everybody's name correctly. You include their person they're with if you're inviting them, because it will offend them. And I have learned that on a lot of occasions. People sent them back, crossed their name out, spelled it right, and I was like, aw, damn. But I did it myself, so I'm like, you know what? If I had a misspell here and there, I am sorry. It was not intentional. I'm not here to try to start problems or make my life more miserable, so sorry. And then just like issues left and right, and I'm just like, you know what? Weddings killing me. Kind of fitting I'm wearing a turtleneck today. Choking me. Okay, so I also found out in this process that which I did not know, that both the moms wear a color similar to the colors the girls are wearing. They wear a special dress, they get special treatment, they get gifts on that day, and then the dads apparently wear tuxes that match. I didn't know that. I didn't realize it until I was told that, and it totally threw me off, because I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it wasn't something that upset me. It was something that was like, oh my God, I didn't do that right. And I was upset with myself, because I was like, I don't in any way ever want to make somebody feel like they aren't important, and I just didn't honestly know. And again, that's one of those things that's like, a lot of stuff is traditional that people think is traditional but isn't, or it's stuff that you would not really realize as traditional, but because you're having this bigger wedding, then people expect that you would know that stuff. And I'm like, this is my first time doing this. I'm sure that if you're watching this and you are planning a wedding, it could be your first wedding. So hear me out when I'm telling you all the issues I'm dealing with, or things that came up that I was unaware about, and take them into consideration. The dads generally get tuxes that match, especially because your dad, if you are having your dad walk you down, which is a traditional thing too, I found out, which I know. I'm excited for my dad to walk me down. The dad walks the daughter down, gives the daughter away, and then the dances are a totally separate thing, but the mother of the groom has a dance with him, and then the father of the bride has a dance with him, as well as the first dance. So that's another traditional topic. Another thing that I am doing differently are vows. So I had a personal conversation with my fiance, and I was totally down with doing all these like handwritten vows for the wedding. And he said he wasn't comfortable with it around everybody, and it hurt me at first. I was like, why? Like, this is our day. This is a very special time. This is our wedding. We're paying so much money for this. Like, why wouldn't you want to say that stuff? And then he said, hey, listen. I am fine with saying the regular vows on the regular day, but I think that for me, he said, I can pour my heart out more to you and be more intimate with you in this conversation. Let's do it on our honeymoon on the beach together and prepare something beautiful so that can be our intimate moment. And I was like, let me think about it. You know, I was hurting. My heart was like kind of broken. I'm like, why is he trying to pretend that he doesn't love me in front of all these people? That wasn't the case. And everybody's different. Of course, when I said this to my parents, they were kind of taken back too. They were like, why? You know, that's kind of strange, but that's something else that's traditional. Usually you will say your vows, and we're just not doing it that way. We're doing regular vows that you would hear at a normal wedding, and then we're saying our personal handwritten vows on our honeymoon. Okay, another thing are the events that take place before the wedding. So generally, if it is your first wedding, the bridal shower will take place. And that is basically a celebration for mostly the wife or the bride's first wedding. And that's why it is so important that if it is your first wedding, that you have a bridal shower. Generally will be thrown for you, but my mom needs help, so I'm helping her a lot with it, and we're planning this whole thing together. And although it's stressful, I've told her, I was like, look, this is actually kind of nice because it's a lot of quality time with you, and I am really coming to realize how much and appreciating how much you love me, and I will never ever take this back, like, for anything. And I don't want to cry, but I love my mom so much, and I'm just like, I'm thanking God every day I have her in my life, and I'm just so happy that I get to spend the time that I spend with her with this. And we've had days where we just spend days and hard work into this and love to make this day so special. And so I'm so thankful for her. But bridal shower generally happens about a month or two before the wedding, and I'm having mine a month and a half before the wedding. You invite mainly women, but I'm coming to find out that other people think, some people in my family think that it should just be women. Other people think, why wouldn't you just have both? So it could be either way, up to you. I'm just saying, you know, whoever wants to come at this point. Another thing that you do is the obvious rehearsal and rehearsal dinner. For that, we are only inviting to the dinner because we're paying for it ourselves. The bridal party, every bridal party in it, and then the parents and the person that they are with. And then maybe like he has a sister who is from out of town and she's not in the wedding, but he wants her to be there, and of course she should be. So she is invited as well. And then one of my aunts, who is the mother of a girl that is in my wedding, is coming, but it's because she is the parent of her. And so it's just like certain people should be there. But you generally have it somewhere that is easy, like we're doing a pizza place, so that it's simple and everybody can have pizza and enjoy their time. And that comes right after the rehearsal. Rehearsal is what you hear. I mean, it's exactly what it is. It's you go in there and you rehearse everything you're supposed to do and how it's supposed to play out and go down on the day of the wedding. I don't know how it's going to even play out that day. I am hoping for the best. I'm hoping that my vision is heard by everybody and that there's no problems, but you never know. So I'm expecting the worst, hoping for the best. And then you obviously have the bachelor parties. Wow, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Bachelorette or bachelor parties. You discuss with your partners what you want to do and what you're comfortable with, and then you just have to trust them and have fun. Don't forget that on the day of your wedding, you want to get your bridal party or your groomsmen gifts that you deem are special. I can't say what I got mine because it would be totally a spoiler for all of them. They're probably watching this right now. Love you, girls. But yeah, you generally get them a couple really special things, and you give it to them on the day of, just saying, hey, thanks for being a part of this. Thank you for being a part of my special day, and I appreciate you guys so much. All right, guys, that's about it. I just wanted to go through an overview of some things that might come up in your planning process, things that were probably the biggest issues throughout mine, and just addressing what the hell a traditional wedding even means. And there are a couple things that I had pointed out that traditionally people will do. I'd use this because seriously, what the hell is traditional anymore? It's not like this wedding in a church. That was another topic because I'm not having my wedding in a church and it offended some family members, but I'll leave it be. So you will just come up with so many things that, I mean, they'll pop up. People will have problems, and I'm just here to try to help alleviate that. If you have any questions, let me know. I have social media links that you can follow me on. I will put them in the link below, and I would love to help anybody and everybody with anything to do with their wedding. This is a humbling experience. This is an experience that I probably never want to do again, but I would never take back for anything. And it has made me build a giant backbone for myself. So, and it also shows you who is there for you and who is against you, and people that I thought loved me unconditionally. Family members, they're cut off. Like, there are some people that I'm just done with, and it's just like, I'll be nice to you, but it's just, you severed ties. So yeah, you will learn a lot through the process, and I can only wish you the best. Have a beautiful day, and thanks so much for watching, guys.